Tonight on The Edge, an act of kindness cost a young man his life in Chesterfield Township.
Louis Stafford offered to help an employee who came on hard times. No one imagined it would end in deadly gunfire. Fox News' Camille Amiri joining us live with more on what led up to this fatal encounter. Camille?
Yeah, this is a horribly sad story. We talked to Louis Stafford's mom, who just wants people to know what kind of person her son was, and she wants to give everybody watching a warning. A big smile, an even bigger heart.
He was so emotional. He loved cats. He was a soft-hearted guy.
Louis Stafford.
He was a good friend. I never known him to be a bad friend to anybody.
A manager at the Taco Bell on 23 Mile in Chesterfield Township. Louis' big heart apparent when he noticed one of his employees was coming into work with wet clothes. Dijon Drake admitted to being homeless, and Louis, being Louis, offered to let him stay with him at his apartment, less than a mile down the road from the Taco Bell.
He had a good sense of humor. He was a big brother. He was a younger brother.
But a short time after the employee started staying with Louis, his behavior became combative towards his coworkers and towards Louis, according to Louis' mother. Louis told Dijon he could no longer stay with him at his apartment. It was Saturday, July 29th.
That's when the fight broke out. The dude didn't want to leave. He just refused to leave, and he pushed Louis, and Louis fought back and beat him up, and so he shot him.
Louis Stafford, just 27 years old, died at a nearby hospital.
I will never understand the universe and how God chooses who leaves and how they leave.
Police arrested 24-year-old Dijon Drake on the scene. He's being held at the Macomb County Jail on a $2 million bond. A message Louis' mom wants to share.
You just cannot let your heart overrule your safety. The world has changed, and it's the luck of the draw. You don't know if you stop and help that person, what's on their mind just because they're in need.
And Louis' mom also has a big heart. She set up a GoFundMe, but not necessarily to pay for anything for her family. Yes, she wants a nice suit to bury her son in, but she's also raising money for Louis' two friends who were there with him when this horrible thing happened. Reporting live in Chesterfield Township, Camille Amiri on The Edge.
Yeah, the toughest part about this whole thing is that Louis was just trying to do the right thing and help somebody get back on their feet, and then something like this happens. It's really hard to even figure out what to say in a case like this.
Yeah, it really is. And we went to the Taco Bell, and of course they couldn't talk on camera because you have to go through corporate and whatnot. But I talked to one of the managers, and you could see it in his eyes. I talked to him obviously off camera, and you could just tell by looking into his eyes how important Louis was to all the people who worked there, and what a great guy he was. Just in that short interaction I had with his fellow coworker. Just a horribly sad story.
Well, like his mom said, you have to remember safety too. All right, thank you so much, Camille, for that. Well, what started as a child custody dispute ended in gunshots and the destruction of a Roseville business.
We're talking about Gradys Lounge. It's now picking up the pieces today after a shootout leads to a crash right into their building.
Two vehicles were shooting at each other, and one of them shot the other one's tire out, and it ran into the bar. We believe the shot that blew out his tire happened before he approached our building, because he was actually in the left lane, and you could see the skid marks that came all the way across and into our building. Of course, there's dust everywhere. The big window was broken. Quite a bit of damage. The cement blocks were all blown out all over the dance floor, all the way into halfway into the bar.
We're told the suspects involved had just left a child custody hearing in Mount Clemens, and one of the family members didn't like the outcome. A shootout then started, and a bullet grazed one person's head. Another was shot in the arm. The bullets hit several businesses in addition to Gradys Lounge. A 30-year-old man from Detroit was taken into custody with the help of the Michigan State Police helicopter.
Ypsilanti has seen a recent uptick in crime, and the police department could use some help.
Well, now the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office is stepping in to do just that. As Fox News' Jessica Dupnack tells us tonight, staffing has become a major concern at Ypsi PD.
quite frankly, you know, they're throwing us a lifeline.
In the city of Ypsilanti police, they need it, and now they have just one detective handling all investigations.
We've had one primary investigator to handle capital cases, and so that is not a sustainable scenario for any jurisdiction.
Staffing shortages are everywhere in policing. At this PD, it's becoming critical.
This summer has been particularly unusual for this county, from what I know, in terms of some of the violent crime. And of course, in my jurisdiction, we had stabbing. We've had several shootings.
That one detective is overloaded. That's why after just 3 months as Ypsilanti's top cop, Chief Kirk Moore is enlisting the help of Washtenaw County Sheriff's deputies. They're detectives on standby starting next week to handle homicides, attempted murder, suspicious deaths, and other high-profile crime.
We'll assign an investigator, and they'll take that investigation all the way through conclusion.
The sheriff's office aid will last for 120 days, but Washtenaw County Sheriff Jerry Clayton says they'll backfill as long as it's needed. Chief Moore says it gives them some breathing room to train new detectives and beef up the investigative unit.
Victims of crimes, they need to understand and know that we're going to be tenacious about serving the public.
The city of Ypsilanti police are down 6 officers. Their problem is twofold: a cluster of retirements and overall disinterest in the profession of policing. They do plan on starting a robust recruitment campaign very soon. Reporting in Washtenaw County, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Well, 5 communities are still boiling their water tonight.
Yes, and some good news, though, we have to share with you. The first round of water tests have come back clean. Macomb, Chesterfield, and Lenox townships, New Haven, and Rochester all impacted. A massive water main break on 24-mile road left residents without water pressure Tuesday morning before being restored. A second round of testing results are expected tomorrow.
Poor health indices have always been higher in Wayne County. We rate last of 83 counties, and a lot of that is environmental air pollution.
A new initiative in Wayne County aims to crack down on polluters. The Air Quality Monitoring Network will be able to collect data throughout the county. Air monitors will be put on flagpoles, street poles, and from what we understand, even on some kids' backpacks. That data will be used to hold polluters accountable.
During these experiments, all of the dogs will die. They either die during surgeries or they die during the experiments. Their death is the end of the experiment. That's the only end point.
Protesters demanding an end to research on dogs at Wayne State University by delivering more than 100,000 petition signatures to the school's new president. The research focuses on heart failure and hypertension. Protesters say the procedures can kill the dogs. Wayne State contends the research is vital, though, to saving lives.
All right, so as you know, Derek has been filling in for Rich all this week, and he claims that he's the one who brought this sunny summer weather with him.
Well, I believe it, and but that's going to change. It's expected to change, right, Mr. Kevra?
You didn't say that, by the way. I said that.
No, but that is the problem. If I were to take credit for the sunny weather,
Right.
which I would love to do,
Sure.
then I also have to take credit when the storms arrive.
Yeah, exactly.
Which could happen tomorrow. Hey, speaking of storms, take a look at this storm blowing up just south of St. Louis. This is how it happens at night. Starts to get a little bit of instability, then those clouds balloon like that. That's a severe weather situation in central Missouri right now. For us, things are a lot quieter, although we do have a little bit of rain and some storms making their way through northern and central Lake Michigan. Not going to impact us. Those will dive down to the south. You woke up this morning, maybe you went to bed last night, and you saw the full moon. It was a little bit orange, wasn't it? And we can attribute that to the smoke that was in the upper layers of the atmosphere. But the smoke model showing it got a lot better throughout the course of the day, and it's going to remain a non-issue for us as we move through the rest of this work week and probably into the weekends. Now, live outside, things are dark. Can't see a whole lot. But down to the south, let's talk about this warm heat. This is coming because of the way that the weather setup is, and we're not going to see this type of heat. By the way, areas around Dallas, third day in a row now of a 105 degrees or more for the high temperatures. This is what's going on. So as of yesterday, we were on the safe side of the jet stream. High pressure down over Texas. That's what's bringing all that heat, pushing that part of the jet stream off to the north. If you're in this zone right here, you're in the hot zone. And unfortunately, I think tomorrow that is where we are going to be. This is kind of the drier, more comfortable air. Here's the heat, the humidity, and the instability comes from the jet stream. And as that drapes right over top of us, that's what's going to spawn some thunderstorms as we move into tomorrow. Let's show you Fox Futurecast real quick, take you through tonight, early tomorrow morning. Nothing to worry about, but by the afternoon and evening, even as late as 9 o'clock, there's the storm. So that's all the ingredients, the recipe coming together, and we could see that as we move through tomorrow. So tonight, 65 degrees, partly cloudy, hotter still as we head into tomorrow, 87. Chance for a storm, full 7-day forecast, a better feeling weekend, although we could see some showers on Sunday. Those could linger into Monday, perhaps even a rumble of thunder then. You can download the Fox 2 weather app to track the storms for tomorrow if they develop over top of you, and there's a severe thunderstorm warning, which, by the way, looks unlikely. However, if there was, you would get an alert sent right to your phone, GPS located, and you'll get that alert. Free to download. Head to your app store and search Fox 2 weather.
Go, go, go. Come on, guys.
Some scary moments today in Washington. Workers scramble out of the Senate office buildings at the U.S. Capitol over reports of an active shooter. A search of the 3 office buildings found nothing. Authorities later figured out it was simply a false alarm. Well, this scare, though, comes as police are already on high alert in D.C. amid Donald Trump's 3rd indictment.
And Trump is due in federal court tomorrow, just blocks from the Capitol. The former president faces 4 federal counts related to his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election, including a pressure campaign on then Vice President Mike Pence. While Pence has been critical of Trump's actions, other GOP candidates suggest Trump won't get a fair trial.
A D.C. jury would indict a ham sandwich and convict a ham sandwich if it was a Republican ham sandwich.
Donald Trump is expected to enter a not guilty plea tomorrow. The judge has delivered some of the harshest sentences to those involved in the January 6th Capitol riot.